It's spooky season once again, and nothing is more spooky than getting punched in the face. Hi, I'm Rhat, and I've been working at haunted houses since I was in high school. Throughout those roughly 9 years, I would say that scaring people is one of the best jobs to have. You meet a lot of great people, and you get paid to unironically hop around in a sick Halloween costume. However, for every awesome thing that has happened during my time as a scare actor, there have been terrible things that I would like to call attention to. I made a video like this last year, but I wanted to do an updated video because some things have changed since then. For instance, I don't have a cold this year. If I sound a little raspy, that's why. The first half of this is going to be haunted house etiquette, and the second half will be bits of knowledge that I think people should know in order to improve their experience. So without further ado, let's get started. Note that I'm not assuming you, the viewer, do these things, but I feel like it's worth saying. Do not hit the actors. The biggest struggle with being a scare actor is watching your friends get sent home after receiving a black eye from one of the patrons. What did they do to deserve this? Their job. An actor does the following. Act. They are playing a character. They are not going to hurt you. Even in a haunted house where actors are allowed to touch you, they're not going to hurt you. They're going to pat you on the back or something light because their job is to entertain you, not eat you or whatever their characters say. Beating up an actor in a haunted house is the equivalent to getting up on stage during a play to stop Claudius from killing King Hamlet. No one thinks you're a hero for doing it. Not your partner, not your kids, not your friends. You look like an asshole and you've ruined everyone's night. If you know for a fact that you are prone to the fight response as opposed to the flight response when getting scared, do not go to a haunted house. Even if you think there's a snowball's chance in hell that you're going to get scared, do not go. I have seen plenty of people go into a haunted house thinking that nothing will scare them right before something not only scares them but makes them physically jump. Last year, the executives of the haunt I was working in came through. One of them was a meathead, all muscle, arms crossed, hair cut, and sunglasses on. I scared him. There was a big muscular guy I scared so badly he slapped his girlfriend while jumping backwards. I cannot stress it enough. If you or a friend are the "sorry, it was a reflex" guy, do something else for Halloween. An extra note to that, I would advise the same to an aggressive drunk. Personally, I don't mind dealing with drunk patrons. They're easier to scare, and their reactions are priceless to say the least. But, if you or a friend are knowingly aggressive or argumentative when drunk, then please come to the house sober. You can drink afterwards. They normally sell alcohol at these venues, and if not, there's likely a cheap bar nearby. Or, at the very least, drink in moderation before coming so you don't end up in a fight. You don't want to get into a huge debate about how unlike dying sleeping is with Hamlet. We're all here to have fun, so please keep your hands to yourself and treat people how you want to be treated. And that includes actors. You might have heard the phrase, "the show must go on." Scare actors follow this to a T. When actors aren't getting bludgeoned by visitors, they're getting bumps, cuts, and bruises from the set. Actors sweat to death in their costumes, choke on fog machines, and stub their toe on the same wooden plank several times a night and still dance the jig. And most of the time, they won't break character just because you've said something rude to them. However, the reason why they're so dedicated is because it's their job to be that dedicated. They are instructed to stay in character unless there is an emergency, and so 9 times out of 10 they do exactly that. People take this behavior as the actor doesn't care what I say to them. But the truth is that they do care. For the most part, actors know how to power through hurtful comments, but it's still unpleasant to deal with, especially when those comments are derogatory or sexual. The actors are people with feelings and boundaries, and it is inappropriate to make sexual, derogatory, or insulting comments at them. It's not woke to say that, it's common human decency. Now, this isn't me saying that you can't say anything to the actors. It's an immersive experience, so you can interact with the characters by mentioning the theme or the story. You could say something about the costumes or do the old "your breath stinks" bit. I'm really just advocating against the sexual harassment and derogatory statements myself and other coworkers have faced throughout the years. Now, I understand the mindset of trying to scare the actors. Wouldn't it be funny if the person who is supposed to be scary was scared? It's irony, comedy 101, it makes sense. However, the execution might not be in your favor. For one, your chances of scaring an actor isn't very high. The screaming is something we're already expecting to hear, and a lot of us are anticipating violence. So your little haha funny routine isn't nearly as scary as what else could happen. Because if you do scare an actor, it isn't the same feeling as being scared in a haunted house. There is real danger in this scenario, because you two are now at risk of ramming into each other's head. There was a time where a guy thought he was being funny by poking his head into the hiding spot I was in, and if I hadn't reacted in time, I would have ended up smashing into his face. It is not safe to try and scare the actors. If you want to be scary, trust me, this is the worst job you'll ever love. It's time to start getting into general information that will help improve your experience. When going through a haunted house, try your best not to idle. You can stand to watch a performance and take in the set for a little while, but try to keep moving forward so you don't end up holding up the group behind you. If the next group ends up catching up with you, your groups will combine with each other and make it harder to explore the environment comfortably. You'll miss out on scares and story cues because another group will be behind you trying to see the same act you're trying to see in a space that wasn't built for that many people at once. So try to keep your respectful conversations with the monsters brief. Now, this advice does not mean that you should run through the house. Not only could you end up running into another group, but it is very dark in haunted houses and the floor tends to be uneven. You can get seriously injured, or you can injure another patron or an actor who could be hiding in a nook somewhere. If you're not sure what pace you should be going, pay attention to the cues of the actors. How a monster behaves is purposefully designed for traffic control. Pop scares are for moving traffic. You're not really supposed to stop and look at them. You either jump or you don't. Speaking roles are for standing still for a short period of time. If the speaker is meant to be walked past, the actor is likely going to gesture towards a direction you're supposed to go. If a monster is idling in front of you continuously, they are likely blocking a dead end or a path you're not meant to follow, like a bathroom or something. Most, if not all, haunted houses forbid touching the actors, so in terms of walking paths, think of each of them as an interactive wall with feelings, because chances are actors are standing where you shouldn't. A side note for keeping a steady pace is not to try every single actor for a high five or a similar action. This is another common occurrence that holds everything up. If the first two actors fail to break character upon a request such as a fist bump, a high five, or a TikTok dance, then chances are they're not allowed to. Scare actors are occasionally monitored by managers to give notes, so a lot of the times, actors prefer to just stay in character. So what do you do if you or a friend are so scared that they freeze up and refuse to go any further into the house? A lot of people don't know this, but you can actually just leave. Remember when I said that actors will only break character if there's an emergency? Someone being entirely too scared is considered one. You can just tell the actor that you want to leave and they'll take care of you. These are just people after all. There are normally assistants on standby for this exact reason. Say you want to leave and the actor will stop performing and have you escorted out by one of the assistants on standby. The assistant will take you out to a secret door and let other actors know that you don't want to be scared anymore. So if someone in your group requests an end to your expedition through the house, please don't force them through. They can end up injuring themselves through the sheer amount of panicking they are doing, or they can end up disturbing the flow of the queue. As I said before, it's important that patrons are going at a steady pace, or at least a consistent pace. Patrons that panic tend to either freeze up or start running as quickly as possible. And not only is that kind of thing an annoyance, but it's dangerous. Haunted houses are disorienting. The floors can be uneven. There could be a lot of fog, making it hard to see, and there are people who are waiting to jump out when someone comes by. So if you or a friend feel that you've had enough, then maybe it's time to
stop it. Get some help.
Speaking of being incredibly scared, it's time to talk about something one would think I wouldn't have to talk about. That's something being children. When you bring your children through, expect them to get scared. It is a haunted house. It is a scary place. Regardless of how kid-friendly it supposedly is, children can still be unsettled by the setting. Do not yell at actors for scaring your children. If you want to enjoy a haunted house without worrying about how scared your kid is, bring a friend along to watch over them while you go through. The staff will keep your place in line if your designated babysitter wants to go through as well. If your child is too scared to move forward in the house, you too have the option to stop and ask to leave. As a mother myself, you cannot tell me you're getting your money's worth of joy and fun while dragging a screaming kid around. As a matter of fact, carrying children is also a bad idea. Again, getting scared is never really off the table. You don't want to panic while carrying someone. The house is, again, disorienting. You don't want to fall or bump into someone while carrying your child. If your child needs or feels the need to be carried throughout the house, then they probably shouldn't be there. It's important to make plans that will be convenient for both you and your children. The happier the children are, the happier you will be. If your kid is scared, just let them leave. There is zero point in pushing them through, because I promise you, your kid is not going to just calm down after you've stated that it's fake for the 13th time. In 8 years, I have never seen a kid stop crying after the illusion was explained to them, and I don't expect to ever see it happen. You're not making your kids stronger, you're making them a higher therapy bill. A lot of these things happen in haunted houses because of patrons who are not amused by the actors' performances. If I, someone who is not scared, can't say something mean, ask for a fist bump, torture my friends, or start a fight, then what am I supposed to do? You can treat it like an art museum. Take a deep breath and just look at what all has gone into this project. You can look at the fine details of the sets, costumes, and odors. You can appreciate the effort the actor is putting into their character, even though it's not scaring you. Or you can laugh and clap at whatever happens, genuinely or ironically. I've worked with people who hate to have reactions that aren't screaming in fear, but personally, I'd rather see someone laughing than someone crying, fighting, or in general getting hurt. If you're not scared, just try to enjoy the overall atmosphere or laugh it off like a bad horror movie. So let's be nice, let's be safe, and let's have a happy Halloween. And now a special message for my fellow monsters. Surely we all know this scenario. You just spent Sunday night knocking people's socks off with your wacky performances, but now it's Monday and you have to go back to work. You are exhausted, to say the least. So you chug down a couple of energy drinks to start the day, only to end up with a case of jitters worse than the ones you gave others last night. Well, have no fear, because Dubby Energy is here. These energy drinks are made to help increase energy, enhance focus, and do so without jitters, crashing, or those weird unreadable ingredients. To support my channel and get 20% off your first order of Dubby Energy, just enter promo code RODENT with an H, or follow the link in the description. Again, that is rodent with an H, RHODENT, all caps. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, unsubscribe, dislike, call me a bad person